maybe it wasn't the rumble in the jungle, but it definitely was the stomp on the swamp today with Donald Trump in court facing off against Joe Biden's minions, the hatchet men from the DOJ, who are coming in their Lululemon pants, sobbing and crying tears filled with Xanax and angst and self-loathing. They hate their lives. They hate this country, and they hate Donald Trump. They hate the people that elected him. They hate democracy, and really that's what this is all about. They don't like the fact that you chose Donald Trump to be president of the United States, and 75 million of you decided to vote for Trump again, even after they threw every single thing they have at him, and so they had to try something new. They threw the impeachments at him, you still voted for him. They threw COVID at him, you still voted for him. They threw collapsing his economy on him, you still voted for him. They threw another impeachment at him. They threw Russiagate at him. They threw the Steele dossier. Every single thing. Everything. Michael Avenatti. They threw Brian Stelter at him. Whew, man, that'd be dangerous. Try and catch Brian Stelter. Woo, Humpty Dumpty. Won't go back together again. And today, the court heard arguments from Joe Biden's attorneys, essentially, the DOJ attorneys, and from Donald Trump's attorneys. And the judge listened, and the judge made not exactly a final decision, but essentially took her gavel and turned it sideways and shoved it into the mouths of the lawyers for Joe Biden. It wasn't pretty for the federal government today in the courtroom here in Florida, and very genius move by Donald Trump, trying this case in Florida with a judge that is at the very least going to be reasonable and independent here, a judge that is, according to our sources, furious that the DOJ is leaking and attempting to litigate this in public by releasing images of classified documents thrown on the floor. And according to our sources, they stapled the classified covers to those documents. They actually went through and literally framed the scene. They went through and framed the scene, including, but not limited to, a framed copy of a Time magazine knock knock cover. So what is the breaking news today? The judge has not decided as of yet for the special master. What would the special master do? The special master means that all of the evidence gets taken from the DOJ and they don't have any more access to it, and that the special master has access to it, and the special master can determine if they took things that were inappropriate. The special master can make rulings on behalf of Donald Trump and say, yo, this is a private document. Whoa, wait a second. This is between Trump and his lawyer. You don't get this. Okay? Of course, it wouldn't look like that. Wouldn't look like that. That looks like the lines again. The lines at Hunter Biden's house on a weekend. So we have a situation where the judge is saying, wait a second, the federal government is lying to us, and I'm pretty pissed off at how you are operating so far, leaking to the press. This ain't DC, baby. This is Florida. Listen to the breaking news report.
The former longtime DOJ federal prosecutor and Evan Corcoran just getting in their cars now, refusing to speak to the media after this hearing today. But one may think they should be happy about what happened inside the courtroom with federal judge Eileen Cannon, because she seems skeptical of the government's arguments not to appoint a special master. We know that Donald Trump's team, the former president's team, wants this neutral third-party arbiter to come in and look at the evidence, even potentially return some of this evidence not related to the scope of the investigation. I want to read some quotes from my colleague Jake Gibson, who was inside. According to Jake, not only did Judge Cannon seem warm to the idea of appointing a special master, even though she's not going to be making an announcement today, she'll be making an announcement in what she calls in due time. Jay Bratt, who was arguing for the government, he told Judge Cannon that former President Trump, quote, does not have an interest in classified presidential records and is in, quote, unlawful possession of the records. Now, Judge Cannon seems skeptical of the government's argument at times. She said, quote, what is the harm of appointing a special master? What is your articulation of harm other than the general concern it would delay a criminal investigation? Martha, we're told from inside the courtroom, she also floated the idea of letting the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, who her team is reviewing the classification levels of these documents, continue while halting the criminal investigation for a time and letting the special master review these documents. The bottom line, a special master, Martha, could be a retired judge. It could be a local attorney, someone not directly related to the case. And even though the Justice Department says we had a neutral third party look at this evidence, Trump's team says that so-called neutral third party is still part of the Justice Department. We want a true neutral third party to come in and look at this evidence. Martha?
Very interesting. David, thank you very much. David Spunt on the scene there. And
so that's the Fox News report from the ground, saying that the government got their asses kicked today in court by Trump's lawyers, and the judge is very skeptical. Of course they should be skeptical, because the FBI literally lies, falsifies evidence, and even creates the crimes. If you're looking at Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping, fednapping case. The FBI has a long history of falsifying evidence, and in fact, a former FBI agent and Department of Justice lawyer was on our show earlier, Brett Tolman, this week, and you may recall he was here saying, yo, I have literally watched the FBI fabricate evidence and push for political prosecutions. They do it day and night, and you cannot trust these people as far as you can throw them. And if you're throwing, again, someone who is the shape of Brian Stelter, it's not going to be very, very far. And so here you have a situation where the federal government is now on their heels. They're used to trying things inside of these courtrooms in Washington, D.C., where every single juror has pink hair and a nose ring and a soy latte and has a shirt that says I'm with her on it. And they have like teeny little teacup poodles that they walk around in the streets with, and they're crying and they're sad and they're miserable and they're unemployed. These are the miserable people that they always try cases before in Washington, D.C. And of course, the D.C. District Court, which shouldn't exist at all, is a just completely leftist stacked court. And so now they're in real America with real judges and real independent people, which are saying, wait a second, this case is not going to go well for the federal government. They have bit off way more than they can chew. Jonathan Turley, our boy over on Fox News, not a Republican, not a MAGA dude, a just pretty clear-eyed legal professor at George Washington University, was sitting there saying, hey, hold up here. Donald Trump has an excellent case, and the federal government is getting its ass kicked.
Well, I think that the Trump team has the better argument here. I said earlier that I considered the DOJ filing exceedingly weak on these legal points. I'm actually astonished that Merrick Garland would sign off on this filing, or if he ever read it. Because as a former judge, he's very familiar with special masters. They are regularly appointed. They're an extension of the authority of the court. They're there to help create a record for the court to render decisions on the merits of motions. I just was really astonished by the absolutism of the DOJ statements. I think it really undermined their credibility. I expect the judge will appoint a special master. Indeed, if I was drafting that DOJ filing, I would have definitely thrown a flag on the play and said, do we really want to do this? I mean, a lot of judges would push back on some of these assertions and to say, really? Because I've been a judge for a long time and we appoint special masters to assist us in cases like this.
So he is saying, Jonathan Turley, legal expert, is saying, Merrick Garland was a judge. He should know better. These judges are going to say, wait a second, like what you're doing here is wrong. It's illegal. You're depriving Donald Trump of many rights, but also he was the president. Of course there should be a special master. How are you doing this? And why are you litigating this in public with these photos and with these leaks to the press? Our favorite judge, someone that we hope becomes the special master in this case, Judge Janine, was on Fox News saying just this. Judge Janine going flamethrower over the DOJ leaking these ridiculous photos of classified documents strewn across the floor.
Master would help lower the temperature and increase public trust. The Justice Department says the appointment could harm national security interests. Well, one of the biggest controversies is over the DOJ releasing this photo of documents from Trump's office labeled top secret. Trump firing back over that photo saying this: the FBI during the raid of Mar-a-Lago threw documents haphazardly all over the floor, perhaps pretending that it was me that did it, and then started taking pictures of them for the public to see. And this is an interesting thing, Judge, that, of course, President Trump is represented by his lawyers in court. DOJ has lawyers in court. But DOJ also, that was a PR move. And that wasn't just a legal move, but a PR move to release the photograph.
It was a shocking PR move. I have never seen evidence from the execution of a warrant laid out for the public the way this was laid out. I mean, it was actually orchestrated, choreographed with the Time magazine in there, so everybody would know that, you know, Donald Trump saves time, President Trump saves Time magazines. Look, it's almost pathetic that they had to do that. And there's a lot of question about whether or not what's visible, what isn't visible. But the appointment of a special master is not a problem. It really isn't. I think that given the checkered past of the FBI, especially with the application before the FISA court, the re-upping the 3 times, that you would get public confidence increased if you were to get the special master. Now, they can't jump the gun and say, well, we already did it with this agent, you know, this arm of the DOJ. Don't worry about it. We got it covered. Right. Well, you had it covered with Jim Comey, the head of the FBI. So, but I think the big problem that we have here is the issue of obstruction, which I think is where you started. And that's the issue of who said we have given you everything that we've got. Yeah. Who was the person who said it? Was it the lawyer who signed it at the time that they came in June and he gave them those additional, I think, 38 boxes? And upon what did that lawyer base that information? But, you know, is it negligence? Is it criminal intent? I mean, we don't know. We still don't know what evidence is there other than they're categorizing it
Would a
themselves.
special master tell us that?
A special master would at least separate the information, and whether it's attorney-client or executive privilege, what they say is not available to him now. Maybe it was available to him when he had it. A lot of legal issues.
Special master. I haven't heard.
So here is Judge Janine saying, what is the problem with appointing a special master? The deficit is on the side of the FBI. It is the FBI who attempted to interfere and meddle inside of the last 3 elections in this country, including but not limited to the midterm elections that are upcoming in 75 days. The FBI fomented the PP dossier and hid its sources and launched the Russiagate investigation. The FBI let Hillary Clinton off the hook for essentially doing 4,000 million times X what Donald Trump is doing into the pit of hell. Like, there is no comparison with what Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton did. Hillary Clinton, a total and complete evil witch, and she belongs in prison for what she did. She gave classified information to foreign intelligence agencies for our enemies. Obviously, you know the story and I know the story. The FBI then went along with Russiagate. Then the FBI meddled using Russiagate and the launch of the Russia investigation in the 2018 election. The FBI then continued to meddle in the 2020 election by suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop. The FBI continued to meddle in the 2020 election by having Timothy Thibault in charge of the Hunter Biden laptop investigation. And we know this because Timothy Thibault is sitting there, according to whistleblowers, saying you will not investigate this laptop. Then Mark Zuckerberg saying that the FBI is telling us not to let the laptop information spread on our platform. And then today we have, of course, more bombshells from the Biden administration interfering and meddling with social media technology. We'll be covering that on the show tomorrow. The Biden administration meddling with social media, telling them what they can and cannot promote, literally asking for specific accounts to be taken down, including but not limited to Alex Berenson. And so, yes, this agency has a public deficit of trust. And yes, there should be a special master that would increase the trust. Trump's attorney saying just that.
President Trump, to my understanding, declassified everything. The FBI's withholding of information and lack of transparency is crazy. It's honestly, it may be the first step to tyranny. Controlling the channel of information is also part of that. And if it wasn't for Truth Social, Twitter might have banned President Trump from telling the world what happened on Monday. It seems that they want to silence President Trump and cancel his ability to tell the truth. If you look at his track record, he's exposed them, 1, spying on his campaign, 2, the corruption of Hunter Biden's influence peddling for millions of dollars, and 3, voter fraud. The invention of ballot drop boxes, which the Supreme Court just ruled unconstitutional. And now he's exposing the overreach of Monday's raid on Mar-a-Lago. We still don't know what exact documents they took other than some mementos.
So this is what Donald Trump would want the special master for. What did you take and why? and how much of it belongs to me. Donald Trump's other lawyer, someone named James Trusty, who we are very, very excited that he has hired. This is a former FBI and DOJ lawyer. This guy is really knowledgeable about the insides of the beast, the organs of the beast, and how they operate. James Trusty was on saying, we're going to force Merrick Garland into living. We're going to rub his nose in it like you would a dog, okay? Merrick Garland signed off on this warrant, so we're going to force him to abide by his own warrant. He's going to learn exactly how painful this gets when you do these kind of third world moves inside of a first world republic. And if he won't let us have the documents, we will get a judge to order him to give us the documents. Here is Jim Trusty. Very excited that Trump has hired this dude.
Yeah, I mean, let me step back and just say outside of this case, I mean, I've seen an awful lot of behavior by this attorney general that's concerning to me. He has no belief in federalism. He's doubling up on civil rights cases left and right for the chasing of the headline. He's targeting parents who have the temerity to challenge CRT in Virginia. And this is kind of par for the course. It's a very politicized Department of Justice. I'm sorry to say, I've been around it, my entire professional life. I don't take any pleasure saying these things, but somehow someone needs to stand up and do the right thing in DOJ and recognize that this is a fool's errand, that they should not have been pursuing this, that it's political in nature, it's not criminal, and somebody needs to step up. And if DOJ is not going to do it, we're going to do our best to get a judge to do it.
If DOJ is not going to do it, we're going to do our best to get a judge to do it. We're going to get a judge who's going to order the DOJ to start behaving legally. And what would legally look like? Well, legally would look like having the same standards for everyone. We covered on our show this morning how it is all being tied back to Barack Obama. It is Barack Obama's stooges, Susan Rice and her cabal of Obama sisters, inside of the various levers of power who are going after these documents and who are persecuting and torturing and tormenting Donald Trump. They must take out Trump. They have to do it. They have to do it because they know that he is the largest existential threat, quite frankly, to the liberal world order. We also covered how Barack Obama's personal archivist, the guy who he appointed as national archivist in 2009, this guy treated Barack Obama very differently than they're treating Donald Trump. Barack Obama got to have access to all of his, to literally all of his documents, to the classified documents. This was not a problem. He was shipping out documents by the ton to the middle of nowhere in Illinois, to some suburb in Illinois. We covered this with Julie Kelly this morning. Now suddenly Donald Trump wants to do the exact same thing, and they're like, no, how dare you, they're ours, they belong to us. All your base belong to us. It's insane. And then if they applied this standard to Joe Biden, God help us. Here's Joe Biden being asked this exact question. Have you ever mishandled classified documents?
Mr. President, in simple terms, is it ever appropriate for a president to take home with them classified and top secret documents?
Depending on the circumstance. For example, I have in my home a cabined off space that is completely secure. I'm taking home with me today today's TVD. It's locked. I have a person with me, military with me. I read it, I lock it back up, and give it to the military.
Without a specialized area in which you would do classified documents, is it ever appropriate for a president to bring classified or top secret documents home with them?
Depends on the document and depends on how secure they're bringing it.
Semi-fascism. What do you mean by semi-fascism, sir?
In December, you will.
Hey, Joe Biden, do you ever take classified documents home with you? Yeah, I totally take them home all the time, Jack. Okay, so what's the difference? Well, the difference is my legs turned blonde to the sun. And the Corn Pop, he was a bad dude. What if Corn Pop was a good dude and he was just trying to protect the kids from the creepy Dandruffy lifeguard? That's what Jack Posobiec tweeted, our friend and friend of the show, and we agree. Maybe Corn Pop was a good dude. Maybe Joe Biden's the creep, and Joe Biden's sitting there saying, oh yeah, I take classified documents home all the time. What? Karine Jean-Pierre saying, I don't want to answer that question when asked if Joe Biden's ever mishandled classified information.
And lastly, with all the attention on the former president's handling of classified information, not asking you to comment on that specifically, but can you say with certainty to the American people that President Biden, in his time as president, has not mishandled, improperly stored, done anything improper with classified information?
No, and then I'm going to move on.
So she said no? So she said, so can you say with certainty that Biden has not mishandled classified information? No. Okay, let's take them at their word. Where's the investigation? Where's the raid? Super duper fun time. Looking forward to it. Last night was a super duper fun time with Mike Davis on the program. Mike Davis saying and giving a quote that made a lot of news, and thank you all for watching, made a lot of news. Mike Davis saying this is a tactical retreat by the DOJ. They've lost. They've lost, and they are going to try and now save face. They're going to show up in court, but they're going to save face as they retreat because they've been beaten already on this issue. They were not expecting the backlash because these people are anti-Trump, derangement syndrome sycophants who live on Twitter. They think Twitter is real life. They think SoulCycle is real life. And their beach friends told them that Orange Man was bad. Mike Davis saying Orange Man good and Orange Man winning. The FBI saying, we're going to pump the brakes here. Do you really believe that? You think that the backlash has been big enough for them to say, this pan's a little hot. We ain't going to grab it.
This is a tactical retreat. They absolutely want to indict Trump. They want to take him off the playing field for 2024 because they know Trump will beat them like a drum in 2024, and that's what they're terrified of.
And so ultimately you think that Trump will be victorious here?
Yeah, what needs to happen, Trump is going to go on offense, and that is with his civil lawsuit with Judge Cannon down in Florida, the Southern District of Florida, an Article 3 judge. He teed up these legal issues. You'll get it decided by Judge Cannon. It will go to the 11th Circuit, where you're going to have reasonable judges instead of a criminal case in the uniparty D.C. District Court with the Trump deranged jury and the left-wing radicals on the D.C. Circuit. So Trump needs to go on offense with this civil lawsuit, and he absolutely 100% will be victorious on these legal issues.
So if you need more information, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you go over to our Twitter account where we are publishing all of the information we can find on this in the ruling today. Kyle Cheney of Politico was saying that a judge appeared poised to restrict the DOJ's access to material seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate with a special master. This is a massive win for Donald Trump. This is a massive loss. Judge Cannon said that she might carve out an exception to allow ODNI, Department of Intelligence, to review and continue. Cannon seemed inclined to allow the special master to review and consider executive privilege. Joe Biden didn't give Donald Trump executive privilege. Joe Biden is a complete jerk. It's like first time in history, right? The presidents have done this to each other. These people are absolutely vicious. Joe Biden's going to give like some rambling ass speech tonight in Philadelphia. Man, don't wander the streets of Philadelphia, please, ladies and gentlemen. It's very unsafe. Like, they shouldn't be doing events in Philadelphia. They shouldn't be doing events in Chicago. Obama can have his museum to himself in Chicago. It's bad. Don't go there. Okay, don't go there. Whatever. You can go to those cities and see exactly what Democrats have done. You can see what go ahead and see. Actually, I encourage them to go. Go see what your policies have wrought for these poor people. Judge Cannon didn't issue a ruling, but raised concerns about the review and didn't seem deterred by her initial view that she said she is inclined to appoint a special master. DOJ warned that if Cannon decided to block access to the documents, she would have to issue an injunction complete with a formal process explaining her reasoning. DOJ could possibly appeal. Woof. They are scared. Panic time. Panic time. It'll be panic time tomorrow for the swamp because Don Jr. will be joining us. It will be awesome. It will be glorious. It will be so sweet. And Don Jr. will be on, and he will be talking about the Trump path to victory, fighting back. What Donald Trump is doing to fight back against the deep state, the corruption, the permanent state, and these sad, miserable, childless Obama stooges who are just trying to ruin everyone's life, just trying to take away our fun, right? We like Donald Trump. We voted for him. It's not a big deal. Okay, people disagree with you. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal to these people because their lives are sad and miserable. But, that's on them. It's on us to be happy. Join me tomorrow, and we will be Shadow boxing, man. It'll be fun with Don Jr. See you at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching tonight. That's the update. Donald Trump winning, DOJ in panic. My name is Benny Johnson. This is The Benny Show.